Hi, everyone. This is Mary Lauren Hall from the Alliance for Biking and Walking, and I'm here with.
Liz Murphy. Welcome to Facebook 101. I am the communications manager with the League of American Bicyclists.
And for those who aren't familiar with our groups, the League of American Bicyclists is a membership of 300,000 affiliated cyclists and organizations. And the league aims to promote bicycling for fun, fitness, and transportation through advocacy and education for a bicycle-friendly America. The Alliance for Biking and Walking is a coalition of over 200 state and local biking and walking advocacy organizations. And the Alliance's mission is to create, strengthen, and unite advocacy leaders who are transforming our communities into great places to bike and walk. So this webinar today is the first in a series of webinars that the Alliance and the League will co-host on social media for active transportation advocacy. And today we're talking about the fundamentals of Facebook. We'll cover the very basics of how to get your organization up and running on the world's most popular social networking site so that you can share your good work with your 1.5 billion new best friends. So before we get started, a few housekeeping items. Liz will be presenting on today's call, and I'll be fielding questions as they come up. To ask a question during the call, you can just type your question into the questions toolbar on GoToWebinar. And we'll be recording this webinar for other people to reference who weren't able to make it. So without further ado, I'd like to kick it over to Liz to get started.
All right. Sorry, folks, for the screen issues there for a second. Just getting my bearings. And I think I was muted before, but this is Liz Murphy with the League of American Bicyclists. So like Mary Lauren said, we'll get started. Just some quick introductory info. Mary Lauren and I are both the communications managers for the Alliance and the League. So if at any point you have an idea or a campaign or something going on, feel free to shoot us an email or tweet at us. There are handles, and we'll be sure to show that later in the webinar as well. So moving on, just sort of a sorry, one second. We have the wrong screen showing. Let me pull that up for us. Okay. See here.
And we're just having a few technical difficulties over here getting the slides up on the screen. So if you just bear with us for a little bit, that would be great.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. Okay, sorry about that, everyone. So we are ready to roll. Okay. Okay. All right. Sorry, everyone. We should apparently do a webinar in PowerPoint for this one. But so quickly, let me show you here the vitals. So like I said, Mary Lauren and I are the communications managers for the League and the Alliance. This is our contact info. I'll be sure to show this later on in our presentation. So just a quick outline of what we're going to talk about today. Just very briefly, just how to use Facebook in general as an advocacy organization who is interested in talking to people and building campaigns and engaging your communities on Facebook. Secondly, we'll look at, once you have the infrastructure in place on Facebook, how to engage with your page and with your constituents on that page. And then going a little bit further, talking about community building. Which ultimately is the goal of setting up this page to sort of spur action and development of your advocacy efforts. And to end, we'll have a quick Q&A if there was anything we missed or any questions moving forward on how to continue to build that community. And as we go along, if there's anything that is unclear to you, please feel free, like Mary Lauren said, to write that question in the question box and we can take a look at it as we go. So first thing is first, why Facebook? Why are we even having this webinar? Obviously, social media has become quite the watchword And so Facebook is number one within that. 3/4 of businesses or organizations are on it. 1 in 6 people in the world are active users. And any given day, 665 million active users. So obviously, this is an immense tool to just reach people on a basic level. So one caveat, Facebook, while it does drive more action than Twitter, meaning if you have a campaign and you're asking people to sign a petition, to lobby their lawmaker by giving them a call or shooting them an email, Facebook will yield more results for you than Twitter, but less so than an email. So just to note, we'll be talking about Twitter later on in this webinar series, so stay tuned for that. So just quickly, some key terms. For those of you who are on Facebook and are pretty well versed just in general personally, these will seem pretty silly to you, but we want to just quickly go over the basics. So a timeline here. We have the league's Facebook timeline up. That is your main view on your page. You just have a laundry list of the people that you like or are friends with, their latest updates that you can engage with, liking, commenting, sharing, what have you. And you can also write your status update here. So moving on to tagging, show you how to do that here. So if you're writing a post, as the league communications manager, we often work in tandem with the Alliance. So if I wanted to tag the Alliance in a post about a campaign we're working on together, you would type the @, which would tell Facebook that you're attempting to tag someone, and type out their name. And there we are, Alliance for Biking and Walking. So you can see it has the quick breakdown of what it is. Click there, and then it will highlight in blue the person that you have then tagged. Quickly, that means that the Alliance will be notified that they've been tagged in a post, and it will appear on their page as well. So that just creates a better interaction and sort of a hat tip to your partners when you're working on something together. Liking, another very basic tool just to show support. That would be this little thumb down here. So whenever you like something, there you go, and you can see who else has liked it. And sharing, which for us is definitely the more important tool, is here. So by clicking this, you will be able to take that post, the contents of it, and put it on your page, in addition to writing your own comment if you so choose. So say Michigan Live here had a story that related to bicycling. We could say the league has helped local advocates here by doing XYZ. Follow along and see the great work that they are doing. So those are the basics of Facebook interaction. So then choosing your setup. So if you're an advocacy organization or a local group or a club, there are several options, those being a page, a group, and a profile. So moving from the bottom, a profile typically is for individuals. So that's where you are friends with your old college friends, your colleagues, whatever that may be, share photos of your new baby. A group, that is better for smaller community-focused programs. So within the bicycling movement, I would think, if you had for a smaller program within your organization focused solely on one aspect. So you had a racing group who liked to meet on occasion. You could create a smaller group where that interaction would stay within that group and only notify people who are interested in that. And then your page is kind of your catch-all. This is the main hub of information and interaction. So recommended that you would create a page as a bicycle advocacy organization. So let's quickly go through creating a page. It's pretty simple. Pull up this page here. If you can't find this page, you can Google literally how to create a page on Facebook, and this will pop up. So most of you will probably be a company, organization, or institution. If you're a bike retailer, local business or place might work better for you. So then moving down to here, we have a ton of different categories you can choose from, whatever fits best for you. For the league, we're a nonprofit organization, so that makes sense for us. And then our name here, let's just do Bike AO. So we are typical Bike AO. We agree to the terms and getting started. That will take us, whoops, there we go. So to note, that was good to know. To do that, you have to be signed in as a person. There's a page. You as a sign in as the page, it will not let you create another page. So here we can get a little real life example. Going to create a page, and then we'll move through nonprofit organization, Bike AO. So getting started, it will take us to a laundry list of basic information to get us set up. So just basic details of your organization. You can put your website here, whatever that may be. Just to note, any of these things can be changed once you're created, once your page has been created. Okay, so we'll save info. You can choose a photo. Like I said, you can skip a lot of these things for now and come back later. You can add to your favorites. So when you are signed in on your personal Facebook account, your page will appear on your left-hand panel, which is helpful when you're just looking to quickly toggle between accounts while you're at work. Moving forward, reaching more people. This is Facebook's way to have you put in an ad. We won't talk much at length about these, but that is a possibility as you're building your audience on Facebook. So here we have just a very basic page here. There's nothing on here yet, but you can see everything is pretty much clickable. Add your picture, add your cover photo. Here are the basic details. It is important to have just sort of a quick line or two, who you are, what you're all about, just so people are aware of that. And those are the basics of creating a page. It's pretty simple once you move through the process. And I hear we have a question. Mary Lauren?
Yes, Allison Kendall has a question. Allison's advocacy group has both. Is there a good way to link them? The page and a group. Is there a good way?
Okay. So I would say the best way to do that would be to promote your group on your page. And you could also link to it, I believe, in your About section, just to alert people of that, that it does exist. But I think the easiest way would be when your group is doing something interesting, if they have an event coming up or if they're working on a specific campaign relevant to them, promote them on your page, on your organization page. So you're letting people know on a fairly regular basis, I have something going on, and here's this group that you might be interested in.
Great.
Okay, so moving forward, along with creating your page, image dimensions are pretty important on Facebook. Making sure they're not cut off, what have you. You might have seen this in your personal Facebook page. So this little page was created. It's an actual Facebook page that you can go and like and refer to whenever you so choose. That is the URL at the bottom there. But it's a great tool just to remind yourself, if I'm putting up a profile picture, how do I need to resize my cover photo? It also includes photo size for photos that you include in a post, in event photos. Basically, it runs the gamut of the Facebook image dimensions. So I will make sure in our follow-up I include this link. It's definitely a great and simple tool to use when you're setting your page up. So unless we have any other questions, I'll move on to part 2, which is a little more on how to engage with your page. So quickly, we'll be talking about, which I referenced before, toggling between accounts, like we saw you do need to have a personal account to then set up a page. So you'll want to be sure you're posting on your page when you want to be posting on your page and not on your personal page. Talking about inserting an image in your post or a video, we went through tagging other people, hashtags, which is a fairly new addition to Facebook and is kind of an import from Twitter, which uses that very often. It's kind of born of that. And then editing a post, say you have a little mistake in it, move forward to fix that. And link shorteners, which is are a great tool to keep your page tidy, and are also actually a great way to keep metrics on what people are clicking on. So let's start with toggling between accounts. Whoops. All right. So we're on the league page here. So if I want to, we saw this quickly before, switch back to my personal account or another page that I manage, you click the gear at the top here. And you can see Facebook will prompt you with who you want to be as you're navigating through Facebook. So Liz Murphy, this is my personal account. I also help manage the league's National Bike Challenge page, which has great interaction among the participants there, and also the league's Women Bike program. So it's easy as a click to whatever that may be, and then you are working as that manager. So you can see here everything appears. I can post, I can change the description here from organization. So that's pretty easy to use. And you can see even our new Bike AO page has appeared for me. We also talking about inserting an image. So if we go down here, so I'm acting as the National Bike Challenge page. It's right here on your adding a post. So you have your status in here, photo and video. You click on that, moving through. So here, if you have an image or a video file saved on your computer, you just click on the prompt, and we can see here, I'll upload the league logo. So you would click there on this JPEG image, and then the status, we'll do test, we're doing a webinar. Whoop, okay, so I can post. Whoopsie, we lost our picture. There we go. Okay, so we post here, and give it a second. There we are. So then we have our logo. You can click on it for the full view. Let's see. Okay, and there you can see, if we're scrolling down, the latest photo will appear here, so we can see that the logo is there. And if we want to edit the post, like I mentioned, moving forward to that, you would click on this, and here you can, so you click on the timestamp, and then you move down to edit. This will allow you to edit the text and the place and time that it was posted. You should note that you can't switch out photos once those have been posted. You'll have to delete and repost if you have an incorrect image. So you can see here, can change the text and finish editing there. So then we're back. And also, deleting a post, obviously, you can click down here and delete photo. So there's a little right hand arrow, delete. So then that will delete the post. If you're ever in a rush and you make a mistake, it's fairly easy to delete. So we'll refresh. And I see we have a question. Mary Lauren?
Yes, we've got a few questions from Art Blackman. So how to plug to have a page, or do we need
from Mark Blackman to have a club is using an individual Facebook account, so we don't have a club login.
And I believe the answer to that is that in order to
And I
operate a
believe
page
the
for an
answer
organization
to
or for
that
a
is
club,
that in order
you do need to
to
start it with a personal
operate
Facebook
a
account.
page for an
I know of a
organization or for a
few
club,
organizations that have
I know of a
created
few organizations
personal
that have
Facebook accounts
created
for their
personal Facebook
org
accounts
that aren't
for
connected to a
their
personal
org that aren't
person,
connected to a
which
personal
can work, but
person,
it's actually
which
now
can
against
work, but it's actually
Facebook's
now
terms of
against Facebook's
service.
terms of service.
So you're gonna
So you're going to want to start off as an individual with a Facebook account that you don't necessarily have to use, but you need to have in order to manage a page.
Is that your
Is that
understanding
your
too, Liz?
It
understanding too,
is,
Liz?
yes.
Cool.
Cool.
Another
Another
question
question
is,
is,
how
how
can
can
you
you
set
set
up more than
up
one
more than
Yes, so that is a
one
good
Facebook
question.
page
I was
manager?
just doing this earlier today. So if you are on the page that you manage and you set it up, if you click through here to your, whoops, let's go here. Okay, so you're at the top here, you can see this little toolbar. You go to Edit Page, click on that, and then we can see here Manage Admin Roles. So if we click through to there, you can see these are our current managers. Here I am. And then all you have to do is to add someone's email address that is tied to their Facebook account. So if I wanted to add Joe at Bike League, I would send that there, and then that would enable him, it would give him a link to then come on and accept the manage role. So it's fairly easy, and you can also delete people from their manage roles as well. But that is where you can change those specific positions. So moving on, we did tagging hashtags. So like I said, this is mainly a Twitter invention. It's gotten more use in Facebook. But if we move here, I was on this page earlier today. This is a bicycling organization. So they are on a bike tour from DC to New York, and they're actually headed to the Afropunk Festival in Brooklyn. So they have been using the hashtag DC to Afropunk. So you can see this is a clickable link, and it will take you to an index page of other posts using such a hashtag. So if you want to use it yourself, say you have a campaign that you're working on at the league, we recently posted one. Let me see here. Okay. We recently did one here. So Velopaso in Texas is working on a campaign to ensure that bike share comes to El Paso. So they are calling on their governments to free the funds. So people have been encouraged to use the hashtag free the funds. So we included that in our post about their work. So it can be a great tool. I think in my personal opinion, I've seen a lot more engagement and usage of the hashtag on Twitter, and that will hopefully be something we talk about in our upcoming webinar on Twitter. But it's definitely seen more usage on Facebook, and I think is definitely something good to include if you do have a campaign name that you would like to continue using. And I see we have another question.
Yes. And Liz, could you mute some? We've been getting some feedback about
Sure.
feedback.
About feedback, just briefly.
Sorry, folks, we're in the same room, so
sorry, folks, we're in the same room, so our voices reverberate on each
so
other's microphones. So great. Jim Bruce asks, is it possible to send a message to individuals' email addresses from Facebook? And I believe that the short answer to that is no. You can't send to people's actual inboxes, email inboxes in Facebook. Like you can't have a message show up in their email inbox by directly sending through Facebook. But what you can do is message through Facebook's messaging tool. And it's possible, I believe, to send a message to everyone who likes your page. Liz, maybe you can correct me on that if I'm wrong. Or everyone who's a member of a group. But it does show up in Facebook's messaging tool, which depending on the person, someone might not use as much as their actual email inbox.
There we go. I'm unmuted now. You can go through here at the top here. These are your messages, the little dialog boxes. So you can see here all of the messages that we've received and sent. And so it's sort of just, it's like an own internal email service or messaging system. And Mary Lauren's correct. I don't believe you can use Facebook to then directly email a person, but I do believe you can message within a group. So moving on to a link shortener, I'll just quickly show you. There are several, and I'm sure people have their preferences. I like to use Bitly. This is it's on the screen here. It's a great tool for keeping metrics as well, which is why I like it. You can sign in and get a free account. If we want to put a post on our Facebook page and we have a blog post with a tremendously long link. We don't want to muddy up our page with all this garbage, so you go to Bitly and can grab a pretty short, sweet, and okay looking link for you. So just for example, type it in here and it will give me a shortened link here. Just copy and you can then paste wherever you'd like. And so you can see down here quickly, it will keep metrics on who's clicking, when they're clicking, how often they're clicking. So definitely encourage you to check out Bitly or whatever other link shortener that you prefer and use that as an extra metric keeping tool. So moving on to creating an event. So here we have a quick example of Women in Bicycles from the Washington Area Bicyclists Association. They are having an open house and crafty night soon for their Women in Bicycles group. So to create an event on your page, it's fairly simple. Let's go back to our league page. So if we scroll down, it's actually in the same place as the post area or status making area. So if we scroll down, you can see, so we created a photo post and here you can go to make an event. So you click down here and this will pop up and give you all the basic information. So obviously name, details, the date and time. And once you click through to this, you'll be given the chance to edit the photos and the details additionally on that page, similar to creating a Facebook page where you can edit and change just with a click. So I won't create one now, but as you can see, it's pretty simple, 3 clicks to get to it. And then that you can share several times on your own page to let people know what's going on. And it's also a great tool to send out to others through other email or what have you to keep track of who's coming and what's going on. So moving down, just kind of general rules of thumb on managing your page. In terms of updating, it's great to have an active page and be aggressive about engaging with your audience and your community. But Facebook can definitely, you can overwhelm people as well. You don't want your posts to be in someone's entire timeline. Obviously, that will people get annoyed and may then unfollow you or mute you in their timeline, which you obviously do not want. So the general rule of thumb is about 3 or 4 posts a day. Obviously, feel it out. If your audience likes the frequent posting and is sharing and liking everything you do, go for it. But in general, 3 or 4 is what you should stick to. And then starting a conversation. So this whole series is sort of about how to start a conversation and boost your efforts through social media. So to keep them engaged and excited to see your next post in their timeline, ask questions, be telling people to check out the latest thing you're working on, and have them comment below with what they think or what they're going to do in their community as a result. And then lastly, pictures. There are plenty of studies out there that show people want pictures. They want to click on pictures. They want to read posts that have pictures. So I have, as a rule for myself, try not to post anything on Facebook unless I have a picture to upload with text, the text included in the post. So I think that's a pretty good rule to keep, unless there's a rare instance in which you just don't have something to put up there. You should really be using photos along with your posts to catch people's eyes. So moving to part 3, I've been talking about metrics and benchmarks as we've been going along. So let's look at how we can actually do that aside from the outside service of the link shorteners. So it's pretty easy. Just generally, you look at your posts here. Let's move back to our page. So here we are. We have a different post that we've been going through every day. You can see the shares appear here with the little turn of a page image, and the likes, like I showed you before, with a thumb. So you can kind of just gauge, am I getting a lot of likes? Am I getting a lot of shares? And that is pretty dependent upon your community. If 15 shares is the most you've ever gotten, then that's a great post. You should think about what you did for that post to continue posting in that way. And if your post is getting no likes and no shares when you've been getting 50 to 55, something is wrong there. So there's definitely a lot of ways that you can sort of gauge how you're doing. The other thing that you can look at, and this is endemic to Facebook, is their insights page. So here we have it. Whenever you're on your page, if you scroll to the top, you'll see here your insights appear right here. So you can click through to there to get on the page. But this is pretty easy way to sort of just get a quick, brief overview of what posts have been popular, how they've been moving through Facebook and other areas of the internet. So if you click down here, you can kind of get into the nitty-gritty of each of your posts. I like to look at the reach, which you can see here, unique people who have seen the post. So that kind of gives you an indication of, have my shares really been, have I gotten shares but have they been shared through networks that have a lot of eyes on them and are engaged. So I think that's a good tool to look at on your insights page. But obviously you can also see engaged users and people who are talking about it. I'd recommend clicking through this and kind of reading up on more of the details about what these mean. But it's a good quick way to kind of get a survey of how your page is being interacted with. And then, like I said, just generally, just mark down, okay, I had a post that got 300 shares and I've been getting at most 20. Take a minute to analyze that. Why did that happen? Did you use a really awesome photograph? Were you especially funny or witty in what you posted along with that photograph? Take stock of what happened there and why it may have created such a buzz. Of course, there's no silver bullet here. It's pretty difficult to tell what's going to go viral, but it is worth taking a deliberate approach when you're talking about getting shares and your information out there to as many people as possible. So just generally what to post. If your organization has a blog, you should be putting your blogs out there every time you have a new post. If you have a local campaign, you should be sure to engage people on your Facebook about that campaign. You could create a hashtag, you could create an image, a shareable image, which we'll talk about later, for people to use in their own spheres. And you can keep talking about your campaign over time. Local news. So that may be anything that talks about that said campaign, or if your organization is in the media, it's good to pump that out there so your constituents can see, that you're doing your work, you're doing your job, and you're working to make bicycling better in your community. And then onto that, relevant updates from your partners in the movement, and just more general information of what's going on in the movement. It's great to make your page really a hub of information related to the bicycling movement. So people not only think that you're regurgitating your own information, but you're creating a community in which you can talk about these issues and feel welcome to do so and get new information every day. So let's take a look at some posts that have really worked and some that really have not from the League and Alliance. So on our Women Bike page, this was just last week, I guess, we released a report about women in bicycling. And one of the pages of the report was just a quick 10 myths about women in bicycling. And that really resonated with people. You can see below that we got almost 200 shares. Over 70 people liked it, and lots of engagement in the comments. I will say this also got a lot of retweets on Twitter. So it's great to have something whenever you create it or have something that comes across your desk that really works as a quick list. People really seem to like that and have a shareable item that really resonates with a lot of people. Here's one from the Alliance. This is sort of a created image that also speaks to kind of the levity that you can have on Facebook when you're more of a one-on-one with your audience. So you can see open streets, happy peeps, great image, kids playing in the middle of the street with the hula hoops. Lots of shares and likes there. And then it links out to kind of the more serious nuts and bolts of what this image is saying. So again, kind of being a little more lighthearted is definitely an okay tactic on Facebook. And then this post, which was just last week, our legal specialist wrote a blog post about a news story out of Austin, Texas. The local police force ramped up their enforcement of their 3-foot passing law for motorists as a part of Bike Month, which was great to hear. And just simply posting a quick blog talking about this with, an image of a guy with a great jersey really blew up. Almost 400 shares, almost 300 likes, and lots of engagement in the comments. So there, kind of being a hub of information really worked for us. And then another hub of information sort of post from the Alliance, just sort of a created image that talked about Dr. Enrique Peñalosa, just a great quote that was shared a ton, got lots of likes. And it's good because even if it doesn't necessarily originate from you, you've created this image that brings people to your page and they may inquire further, what is the Alliance? What do they do? Can they help me in my efforts? Then for a post that didn't work, and this gets back to the photo issue, this was a story we were following just earlier this month on the Hill. There were anti-bike amendments talking about being introduced to the Senate floor. And we obviously began a campaign to combat this. So this is just one post from our VP for Government Relations, kind of taking stock of what was happening on the Hill to alert our partners and advocates across the country. No photo. The link is pretty boring. The text is kind of boring. So let's go back to this. There's another post about the same topic. Links out to a blog rather. That explains the situation some more. But here we have a picture that explains the situation in one image. there we have the Capitol bicyclist riding right in front of it, and that got 36 shares, over 100 likes. So you can see really what the power of just a single image can have in boosting your post. So I've been talking a little bit about tone. In general, I think Facebook and other social media channels is really your chance to have more of a face-to-face interaction with your audience and your constituents. Um, Make sure you're asking questions. Make people feel good that their comments and opinions matter to you, and that you have an open ear for their questions or their needs. Um, you can use competition in your favor. Quick Facebook competitions. I'll show you an example of that in just a minute. And then just be fun. I mean, the tone should be dependent upon your organization. And I think you all have your own internal barometer for what that may be. But definitely have fun with it. So for competition on our National Bike Challenge page, we do these on occasion to keep people engaged and give out jerseys. So just a very simple post asking people to like it and offering jerseys as a result. This keeps people coming to your page. It's just a pretty simple, quick way to keep people engaged and keep people talking, and is very easy for us to do on our end. So moving to our last topic, shareable memes or images, basically an image with text on top of it or some sort of informational nugget or question or stat or action item. And these are kind of what you is great to aim to do with your Facebook page, because these really seem to get the most shares, the most people coming to your page, and the most action out of any of the other tools we were looking at earlier, simply just posting with text. So to do that, not everyone has Photoshop or InDesign, which is understandable. You could also use PowerPoint, which you can see here I am using. It's a very easy way to add text on top of an image. And there are also a number of online services, Pixlr being one of them. But if you Google around, there are a number to choose from, depending upon your ability and what you're looking for. So this is just one that we rolled out a week ago based on our Women on a Roll report, our Women Bike report. So for this week, we're focusing on the health aspect of the report. Just a quick data point, and it was shared hundreds of times, went all over the place, and saw traction for us. So it's a simple and easy way to get people engaged and on your page and interested in what you're doing. Just looking at some other ones here. I created this one a couple weeks ago to sort of help spur some membership. So the league has a 4-star rating by Charity Navigator. That's 4 years running. So it's very simple, just a quick sentence and our logo and an image that we're able to use. Got a ton of shares and likes, and very simple to do. Then the Alliance. This one here is a summer photo contest, which has been a lot of fun watching. So just simple and easy image with the text on top, just basic details, and include a link to more of the information to figure out how to submit, how you should submit, and then winning that bike. So that is everything I had. We have about 10 to 12 minutes left to take any lingering questions. I hope that this has been helpful. It's been very basic, some more advanced topics as well. But we look forward to any other questions and hope you all tune in to our later on, our future webinars on this topic.
Awesome. And we do
have a few questions. If you have additional questions to be addressed in the remainder of the webinar, you can go ahead and type them in the questions module of the GoToMeeting or the GoToWebinar page. or toolbar. So one question from Tracy: how does one get the word out about a new community page? And that's a great question. We talked about building more audience, but if you're really starting from nothing, let's say you got that advocacy AO page that you just started, how do you get
So
likes,
I
numbers?
think just simply going really grassroots. So you have your Facebook page, put it on there. Ask all of your friends to like it and share it. Make sure all of your coworkers are doing the same. And also, if you have an email newsletter, be sure that you're including that in there and asking any members, if you're a membership organization or a club, that they are liking the page and sharing it with their friends. I think those are pretty much the most basic ways. If you're on any other social media channels, like Twitter or Instagram, whatever that may be, making sure that you're alerting people of your other accounts. But I think in general, an email drive of sorts, just letting people know, hey, we're on Facebook, come out and like us. And when you're out in the community at an event or what have you, letting people know that way by, you could even have a small flyer or even business card size that just says, like us on Facebook, XYZ. Do you have any other comments, Marilyn, on that?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely useful to include a link to your organization's Facebook page on any digital communications you put out. So at the bottom of emails, at the bottom of your website, you might even want to send out an email that's the only, also having on slides, or if you do PowerPoint presentations, or on flyers and outreach materials to list your page URL is really helpful. Just a quick email around to folks, like people on your board, people who are already investing in your organization, to say, hey, we're on Facebook, and you go over and like us, and then spread the word about it, can be really helpful. So hopefully that answers your question, Tracy. Um,
That's a great question. I don't have a ton of
Want to get
experience
more
doing that. I know
page
we
likes.
have
How
paid
effective
for
is using Facebook's paid
a
advertising?
couple ads in the past. I haven't set those up myself, but I know from my colleague who did, said he definitely saw an increase in attracting people, but it wasn't necessarily a huge bump. It wasn't, like I said, a silver bullet in any sort of way. Um, there is a lot of, I believe there's some good information out there about the success of Facebook ads, and we can include that in any wrap up that we do. But in general, I guess I'm not totally sold on it. Do you have any experience with that, Mary Lauren?
Like images that have text on them, or content that's going to be a little bit more shareable, a little bit more visual, maybe something kind of pithy. And I would test around with lots of different things to see what works before turning to paid advertising. But that's also just because I'm very cheap. I'm sort of a stickler. Um, so hopefully that answers your question, William. A question from Mark. Maybe probably using pictures of people without releases for an organization on Facebook. And question, I'd be curious what you have to say too, Liz. I would say it's probably best practice
Yeah,
to not use people's,
so at the League, we
I
often
mean, it's,
rely on
I'm
a
sure
lot
the
of
official
our
answer is
partners and
don't
friends
use
in
a
terms
close.
of using images from photographers and the like and other organizations. So the one thing that I can think of where we do take a lot of people pictures, our big event of the year at the National Bike Summit, and I think there are, first of all, just too many people to get releases from to be doing that at the summit. But I think in general, if you're letting people know that you're uh, taking photographs at an event and they're okay with it, you're probably okay. Um, but yeah, that's a tricky one. I think in general, though, if they're okay with their photo being taken, you're probably okay using it in your materials. Okay, 1 second here. Looking up at our next question. So, what from Laura Kern? What topics get the most reach for you? That's a good question, and I think that is pretty dependent upon what your organization is focused on. So here at the league, we are, one of the national groups who are doing a lot of work on the Hill. So going back to our earlier example posts about the work we were doing to combat those anti-bike amendments that may or may not have come on the floor. We got a lot of traction by keeping our Facebook followers informed of what we were doing, of what was happening on all fronts, on the blog, on Facebook, on Twitter. And we really sort of created a social media push for that specific action to combat those amendments. That saw a lot of great interaction. I think we got quite a few new people from that because our our bread and butter followers were sharing and asking their friends to make sure they were doing their due diligence to combat these sorts of amendments. Also, in general, our Bike Law University series is really, really popular. We like to say here at the League that anything Ken touches turns to gold and is shared all over the place. Ken is our legal specialist. So for us, sort of legal topics are of interest, and that touches, I think, everyone. So because we have a national focus, we're looking at how those laws affect every single state in the country. So that obviously has some resonance for everyone. So I would say in general, just sort of the topics that you do best and they're sort of central to your mission. I think that's really what gets people excited and interested in what you're doing. Also from Laura Kern, we have another question about so other than original content, where do you find it? So Mary Lauren and I do communication, so we're on Twitter pretty much all day, on Facebook, lots of other social media avenues. So I personally get a lot of my content, information, news from those mediums, and it's great to sort of, um, like I said earlier, to share news items that have a bearing or on the bicycle movement, or um, one of your staff members is quoted in. So sort of using that sort of information and including it on your page can get a lot of great traction and engagement. Um, I hope that answers your question. Looking forward at some other questions here. See if there's anything else. Um, doesn't. Okay.
So we're actually having some technical difficulties on our end. I've been kicked off the webinar because the internet doesn't like my computer apparently. So we're just taking a few minutes to go through the questions. Thanks to everyone who is submitting questions. Some folks are asking if there will be a video for this webinar. Yes, we're recording, and we will have the YouTube video up afterwards.
Okay. It looks like we're sort of nearing our end of time here. We just have a minute or so left, so we will wrap up. And sorry for the technical difficulties we had earlier in the broadcast. Um, but thank you all for tuning in. This has been really fun, and I hope you were able to learn some new things. And you've definitely taught me some new things too, and just your questions making me think about new ways to engage people on Facebook. Um, but like I said, if you have any other questions or comments, feel free to email either myself or Mary Lauren or both of us. And if you're on Twitter, be sure to follow us for the latest on what our organizations are doing and what's going on in bike news. Um, and please do stay tuned for a recap of this webinar, which will include a video and the slides. And any other studies that I referenced earlier. And also, we'll be letting you all know when the next webinar in this series on social media for furthering your advocacy efforts is coming up. So thank you all very much for tuning in, and until next time.